Hi, this is Charlie Zeiss with Stargate Pyramids, and this is Pyramid Quest. Joining me today, in addition to Lori and Bill, is Lisa Richards. Lisa, as most of you who have been watching our videos in the past know, is the person who makes the custom capstones for the Stargate Pyramids. Lisa makes an outstanding collection of very, very powerful capstones. And although she'll talk about it here in a little bit more in a minute, she is an intuitive herself and does individual consultations. And we're going to talk about just an enormous number of things that go on in the manufacture of these capstones, how she can customize them for you. And also, we're going to be testing the energy of these capstones. We have found that the energy that these capstones add to the field inside the Stargate Pyramid is just absolutely enormous. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Lisa, and Lisa can tell you a little bit about how she got into this and a little bit about herself, and begin to introduce you to the information that she has about her capstones.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Richards. I'm sure a couple of you have seen me on here before. I actually got into spirituality probably about 8 years ago, and that's what started me on my journey. I got into healing, energy healing, Reiki, and pyramid energy. I was brought forward Patrick Flanagan's Pyramid Power. That's what brought my attention, and I want to actually say rest in peace to him because he actually just passed away. One of the pioneers of Pyramid Power, Patrick Flanagan, passed away recently. So I learned a lot from him and his studies, and it really escalated me. On top of all of that, I'm a researcher. I love information. So I found the Russian pyramid information, the Russian science behind it, and how they've been studying this stuff for 20, 30 years. And it just really drew my attention. And that's how I met Charlie. You know, Charlie and I hooked up at the Global Pyramid Conference last year. And it's just been an awesome journey since. You know, we've been going to different expos together and teaching people about the aspects of Russian pyramid geometry. So it's just exciting to be doing this. And there's so many people that have been reaching out to me, you know, getting a hold of me to do the intuitive consultations. Germany, like I said, I just shipped my last pyramid capstone to Germany, all over the country, Australia, the United Kingdom. You know, there's people from all over getting them, and it's really amazing that this is really starting to spread out.
Well, this truly is a worldwide phenomenon now, and it's really fascinating. I know I've shipped now to 6 continents myself, and you know, so one of these days we're going to get one to Antarctica, so we can say that we've shipped to all 7. But
maybe we take a trip and we put one there.
There you go. Yeah. We ought to do that. But what I thought we'd do, I wanted to segue into this by saying that after we finished last week's Pyramid Quest, as we always do, we got back together as a group after we finished taping, and Lori had to excuse herself to go to the front door, and she came back and she was opening up a box, and she said, "Where did this capstone come from?" And I didn't know, but Bill had sent her one, and she immediately started to feel the energy from these, and I'll let her talk about that, but that's really what prompted us. I got on the phone right away with Lisa that moment and found out that she was available today, so we wanted to get her on. So, Lori, why don't you explain a little bit about, you know, your experiences with it so far, and maybe that'll be a good way to get us into the discussion.
Well, to add to your story, what was funny is we talk about, you know, Bill, Charlie, and I talk about what are we going to do for the next topic the next week, because there's so many things we can talk about with this pyramid. I mean, it's an intellectual tool that keeps, you know, we keep learning. It's doing something new. What I find so interesting is the synchronistic things that are happening so quickly. It's not like a slow process, it's quickly. So here Bill is saying, hey, Charlie, I really think we need to look at capstones. I really think we need to look at capstones. And I'm kind of like, he's talking a foreign language to me. I know you guys have mentioned it a few times, but I don't know what that is. And I could hear the mailman climbing my stairs, and I went to the door, and he had just put the package down. I just picked it up, and he said, "Here you go." And he said, you know, "Have a nice day." I looked in the box. I couldn't believe this most beautiful capstone. And I had no idea who Lisa was, and that's who the return address was. And I'm saying, "Charlie, do you know who this person is? I got a capstone. This is the coolest thing." And then to find out Bill had gifted it to me, it was such an amazing thing. And what happened immediately when I took it and I held it in my hands and I stood up, I could literally feel myself like a rocket ship, like building and building and building and building power, ready to blast off. And I said, "Bill, what's my energy at?" And he says, "Over 500 million. And just really quickly, I want to thank Hakan and Deb Johnson for writing into the show and saying some wonderful things. Deb Johnson, just to let you know, you were talking about how the air increases and changes differently in the pyramid, how true it is, and what crystals would work. I'm going to suggest you talk to Lisa, send your photo in, get a capstone, because it's absolutely amazing.
All right.
Aw, thank you. That's awesome.
So why don't we do this? Lisa, why don't you use the experience of building Lori's capstone purely from her photograph? And I know, I haven't said this to anyone before, but I know that Lori was trying to figure out why Bill wanted a picture of her a couple of weeks ago.
I thought he was healing me. I thought he was using a pendulum, and I thought he was healing me. I thought, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure he's going with my photo, but that's pretty cool.
So Lisa, I know you two haven't had much time to talk, but tell us what you got from, use this as a case study. What did you get from Lori's photo, and how did that impact, maybe use that as a case study as to how you actually build a custom capstone based upon the photograph you received?
Yeah. So actually, it's pretty simple for me now. I've simplified it a lot because I think that people just try to make it more difficult than it needs to be. I instantly, when I see somebody's picture, I see a color that surrounds them. And I might see a spirit animal with them, you know, that has a symbolic meaning as well. And then I'll have a crystal come to mind instantly as well. I like to implement 2 or 3 different colors, but I like to tell people I don't have all the information in my mind. I don't have all the information, I should say, in my memory, in the top of my head. I don't know what every crystal means and what every crystal does. I don't know what every color does. I see the color, and that's the color that I need to make your pyramid. That's the message from my spirit guides, that this is what they need for healing right now. And that's how the crystal is chosen as well. So when I saw Lori's picture, I instantly saw the color purple. So I knew, and I knew that she had, and I knew she had to have that amethyst cluster. She also had, I think, is there white in there too? Yeah, the sparkly white. So the sparkle white is like the goddess energy connecting to the divine feminine. Okay. The moon energy. She seems like a very fiery spirit. So the moon is going to be a little more calming to balance that out, you know? And then the lime green. So the lime greens, that's only the second one that I've ever made with lime green in it. And lime green is a combination of the green and yellow. And I do all these based on the chakras. So green for the heart chakra, you know, which there may be some pain that's still blocking the heart chakra a little bit. And then the solar plexus, which is the emotional center, you know, which resonates. You combine them together and it's going to heal together. There wasn't one set focus, the heart or the solar plexus. It wanted me to combine them. And that's what I did. So I just go with what I'm told to do, you know?
Yeah. So Lori, could you hold that back up?
Part of it here. Yeah, the top part, you have an amethyst in there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's an amethyst cluster. Yep.
And then could you go through the other layers as well?
Yeah, so the amethyst cluster is the third eye chakra, and that's going to help with your intuition. The lime green actually is more for worldly wisdom. You want to collect that worldly wisdom. You're seeking all that information that you don't know. Does that resonate with you then, Lori?
Yes, absolutely. You're doing great.
Okay. Well, that middle, so that the little layer of sand, it looks like sand, which it is, but it's actually 97% quartz sand. It's the same sand that Charlie uses in the base of his pyramids as an added addition if you want to buy that. But I use a process called bionization. So what it does is I freeze and boil that sand 3 times. I'll freeze it overnight, then I'll boil it for 30 minutes, freeze and boil, freeze and boil. And what I'm feeling,
and what
like,
we
I
understand
just
when
came across,
you do that, it increases the power of it, as I understand. I think we learned about that
yes,
a couple weeks
Right.
ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I just found out this information. This was information from a scientist. I just found this out probably 6 to 8 months ago and started implementing it. But it actually enhances the power of the quartz, but it also retains that very high vibration indefinitely. It never dissipates. So you can actually just use that capstone, set it on your end table, and put crystals around it that need charge, and it's going to charge those crystals as well. But it's always going to keep
Oh,
that
that's so
capstone
cool.
charge. You'll never have to charge that crystal in there either because of that
So,
bionized sand. So what I'm feeling intuitively is that the freezing and boiling is creating an expansion and contraction, expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting, like a pumping action of the energy around it. And that last contraction just holds on to it and it retains it.
and did you put some resin around it? My daughter was saying, I feel like there's resin around it. And I didn't know if that was true or not.
That's
Okay.
what the primary base of the capstone is resin. It's polyester resin.
I thought that was
I
great.
actually want to look in.
She's very intuitive herself, so yeah.
Really? Oh, good. Yeah,
So-
you know, I actually want to. A lot of
do
people.
you make necklaces? She wants to know if you make necklaces because she loved this, but she wants one around her neck. So,
Yeah. Actually, I do. I started making some necklaces. I made the one that I'm wearing now. I make one with a
great.
tensor ring in it. Yeah, so I make some different ones. I just started getting into jewelry, so I only have a few options right now. But if she has any ideas, she's welcome to get a hold of me and let me know what her ideas are, and I can work with her designing one.
Thank you.
Well, Bill, would you
But I
hold up?
want to tell you what.
Oh, go ahead, Lori.
Just really quickly, because I drove across the country and I had to bring this and the pyramid.
Oh, that's right.
So I went from the middle of the United States to the east side of, I'm in the North Carolina. So what I find so interesting, I put this in between my thighs while I was driving. And I started out driving and I could feel a frequency or a sensation. And I thought, what is going on? And I could feel it. I was being told that it was bringing abundance to me. And immediately after that, I got someone saying, hey, I'd like a session. And so then I went a little bit further and I could feel another frequency and it said that it was bringing me miracles. And then I was getting tired of kind of holding it between my thighs because I had to use my muscles while doing that. So I just thought I'd put it closer inward in upper parts of my thigh, and a left part of my nerve started going crazy. And I pulled it away and the nerve stopped. And so I put it up again and it kept doing it. It was almost like I was plugging it in, unplugging, plugging. But what I found out is in previous lives where I was murdered just for being a woman, when I was killed for just being a woman, this was healing me from those situations. And then this was the other great thing, because whenever you go on a 20-hour drive across the country, there's always either some kind of traffic or some kind of weather or something going on. I did not have one precipitation at all whatsoever. And the amount of car lengths between me and the front and the back car was 5 car lengths, nothing but space between me. So there was no stress, no traffic, no nothing the entire time. And I just feel like there is such an intelligence here. We are not really aware of everything it does, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
definitely. And one other thing I almost forgot, but I always embed a crystal in the center. You can't see it from the outside because it's usually embedded in the bionized quartz layer. And usually I use a quartz crystal or a Herkimer diamond just to mesh all the elements of the pyramid together and to amplify the energy of it. But with Lori, I was guided to use a piece of granite. And I really felt that was relaying to the pyramid energy itself as well. And the sand element itself, like Egypt, just the old days, you know, the old times where all this old ancient information comes from, that really resonates with you a lot. And the granite itself, it helps you to see the bigger picture of things. So I think that's going to help with some elements for you as well.
Well, Bill, why don't we move on to you for a minute? You ordered this for Lori, and I know that you got one for yourself. So did you actually speak with Lisa about yours, or did you send in a photo? How did your experience work?
The same way. I sent in a picture of myself, and I just said, you know, do the intuitive design option, and then Lisa, I guess, does the consultation, and then you have the option of reviewing it and then agreeing or not agreeing with anything. And I just let it all, you know, up to Lisa to decide what to do with mine, and certainly for Lori's, you know.
Yeah. Could you hold yours up so Lisa could explain it and describe what's in it?
Okay, hold on one second here. I have your chart here.
Boy,
I have
that's
so
beautiful.
much information for all of these. Yeah, both of yours were some of the most beautiful ones that I've made so far. Hold on one second here. Bring this up. So Bill's, I used, one of the primary colors is silver for his. And that's really symbolic with money, and it represents wealth. It also is the divine feminine and the moon energy as well, and bringing that balance into your life. Because if you're too this or that, you know, it's just going to go one way or the other. But we need the balance just to really mesh everything together. And then indigo. So indigo is representative of the third eye chakra, which is based on intuition, focus on your personal issues, finding solitude and inner communication. So it's really, once you have that third eye chakra open, you're going to trust the information more that's coming to you. You're going to get more information and guidance from the other side as well. Let me see here for 1 second. I think I also added that very top layer is white. So that's going to be also, yeah, that's also going to be really purification, innocence, you know, going back to source, to our true power. Let me see here. So we really focused on 2 of the chakras with yours, the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. But really the crown chakra was the main one. And that's going to be, of course, on the top of your head. It's going to be connection with the divine, allowing that information to come through, the spiritual guidance. And one of your crystal is actually one of my favorites. And I just discovered this crystal when Charlie and I, we went to one expo down there, Charlie.
In North Carolina?
In North Carolina, Karma Fest. We went to Karma Fest.
Well, that was
Indigo
Baltimore.
Gabbro.
It's, yeah, anyway, it was in Black Rock, yeah, North Carolina.
Yeah, it was a little, yeah, it was
Illuminate.
nice, but
Illuminate.
that's where I was that's where I was introduced to the Indigo Gabbro. And it's a powerful stone. That's what I put in Bill's. It says, I just want to read you a little bit. It's a fabulous spiritual tool. It amplifies higher energies, making it easier for us to connect to the spirit world. So when you're doing tarot readings, mediumship, channeling, trance, it's going to utilize that, and it's going to be a lot easier to get through. It brings clarity to all of your spiritual gifts, your intuition. And it's also an adaptogen, which I thought was really cool. So some people's they're going to use it a certain way. Other people are going to use it a different way. It's both grounding and amplifying. So you're getting the best of both worlds. And that's really cool because I found when I plug in a grounding mat and I put it inside of my pyramid and I put my bare feet on that grounding mat, it really amplifies the power of this meditation pyramid. So you're getting that just with that stone in there. You're getting the grounding and the amplification all in one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now you can, if you want, describe this one. This is, I believe, one of your, the ones that you show on your website is a, I believe, a standard. Is it not, or no?
No, it's not. That's one I designed just for you, Charlie.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, tell me about it.
I can't remember I think I got Tiger's Eye in the top for yours. And then I focus more on the grounding energies and the sacral chakra. So more
Okay.
of the grounding energies for you.
Okay.
Mainly that's the basic for your, but you need a new one. So I don't really want to explain yours much and go into it because you broke yours.
Yeah, I did.
I want to get you a new one though soon here. I'll send you one.
All right. Well, anyway, what I think would be fun next, and Lisa, I don't know that you've seen this, but we'll probably want to do some exercises here. Bill is a dowser, and Lori, of course, is intuitive, but they've been working together using a common scale called, is it Bill, the Bova scale, right?
Yes.
And so they can test the energy fields, and they are surprisingly spot on with each other when we do this. So I think what would be fun for everyone to see is to just see how powerful these capstones truly are, because we were testing a little of this before we went on air, and it's just phenomenal. So I guess without further ado, maybe you guys would want me to be the guinea pig, so you can, and then we can test.
Yeah, that would be, me?
Oh, yes.
Okay. What do you want to do first?
Well, let's give everyone a baseline and just say, if you get out of the pyramid, and we'll just, what the pyramid is by itself.
Okay.
You want me to do that too, Bill?
No, you stay right
Okay, just Lori right now. Okay.
there. This is more for Lisa's benefit than ours, because we've done this before. So right now, it's,
I appreciate it.
I get a reading of 14K, and
Okay.
with Lori not in the pyramid, and without her capstone.
Okay.
Okay, so
Was that 14 you said?
yep, 14,000.
14,000. Yeah.
So
And now, do you want me just in here myself?
yeah, sure.
Just myself.
Okay. So Lori by herself is 100K now.
Okay.
All right. And now I'm going to get my capstone.
Now for the fireworks.
Do you want to do a test with her just standing up without the capstone?
Well, no, she's got it next to her chest,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
and she's at like 100 mil right now.
Yeah. I
Oh,
feel
my
like it's
goodness.
still going. Yeah, it's still going.
Now if she puts it over her head. Okay, lift off. She's in beast mode. 1 billion.
1 billion. Okay.
Isn't that
Oh my
amazing?
goodness. I'd be eager to see the reading when it was outside of the pyramid, based on how far away from the pyramid itself is, and how it's turned. Because I know some of the science from Russia, they had plants emerging from 11,000 years ago, just outside of the pyramid by the points.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that's emitting a big, powerful energy too. Yeah, that's awesome. That is amazing. That's really
Right.
powerful.
Yeah.
Do you sense there's
Yeah.
a particular side to your capstone that's better than the others, Lori? Because that's
No.
what Lisa's saying. Is that right?
Yeah.
hear that?
She's saying if I turn like,
not really the
the
side, but
stone
the
this
point,
way more?
the points at the bottom.
No. Okay.
oh, these. This is
Yeah, the
facing
points at
west,
the
if that
bottom.
helps you at all. Okay.
Okay.
So we found that if you face your pyramid west, you seem to have more energy facing west.
Yeah.
Side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that, do you think?
You know what? We never went further than that. I have no idea. I can ask. Well, this is interesting. I didn't expect this answer. Okay, I'm going to say this. I didn't anticipate this answer, but it's saying that if you're in a pyramid and you're in the other directions, the pyramid itself will actually block you from the directions. So the only direction that's allowing you to be open is the west. So I don't know why that is. That could be other pyramids that are blocking it. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Huh. That is interesting. I've always utilized, when I sit in my meditation pyramid, I always face the east because that's just how I feel more comfortable. And I've learned that it brings and draws more spiritual energy in for me that way. I get more information when I'm facing that way somehow. But I also utilize different aspects. I use sacred geometry.
I know that's
I actually
where...
have a... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, excuse me, just that when people pass in hospitals, some hospitals have it set up that their feet is facing the east when they pass to ascend.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
So, Bill, do you want to try me next?
Sure.
All right. Oh, you first let me get out of the pyramid. Oh, goodness sweet. There we go.
All right. Your pyramid is now at 14,000.
Oh, do I need to? Yeah, forgot about that. You need to see it?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you want to climb in.
All right. And that 14 is exactly what you measured for Lori's pyramid as well. Interesting. Right. All right.
So inside, you're registering 40,000.
Okay, and now let's see. We had.
Do you have the capstone inside?
I do now.
Okay.
And I'll put it up to my chest.
So you're at 20 mil right now.
Okay. And then, Lori, did you put it on top of your head?
Yeah, just right up there. And now you're at 250 mil.
Okay.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. I would love to see, I'm working on a batch of ionized sand right now. And when I get it dried, I'm going to fill the entire pipe, all of my pipes, with that ionized quartz sand. I'd love to see the energy and how that amplifies it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what I just
Well, can
did,
we test Lisa now, that where she is?
be happy to. I just have one more measurement, Bill, I'd like you to do. I put the capstone underneath my chair.
sure.
So curious to see what that does.
$10 million.
10 mil, okay. So it seems as though the higher up we go,
Yes.
the more powerful it is. I can also, if you can bear with me, I'll put it up where it would normally reside. Let's see if I can do that. All right, now test it.
100 mil.
Okay, so it's not quite as good as holding it. So now I'm holding it in the same position.
What is it, inside the pyramid?
No, it's on top.
That's still 100 mil.
Okay, so holding it doesn't seem to make a difference.
No, it's got to be inside the pyramid.
Yeah, it seems to be. Now I'm holding it just at the very top of the pyramid.
Do you remember, Charlie, David Wilcock on Gaia talking about the men would start putting the fiberglass up at the very top and they couldn't handle the frequency and the energy they were getting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dizzy.
I remember
and
that.
yeah.
250, Charlie.
Yeah.
250?
Yeah.
So it clearly seems as though you're right. As far up at the top of the pyramid as possible is the best. So, okay.
So Lisa,
All
do you
right.
have a capstone you'd like to test?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a capstone you'd like to test?
I don't have, I mean, I have a capstone on my pyramid already. It's the sand castle. It's just ionized quartz sand. But we can test it if you want to.
Sure.
I don't have the ability to take it off right now because my pyramid would all fall apart. So.
Yeah, that's a problem we've got too. I actually have I have one. It's a smaller version than probably what Lisa has, but we could test that as well. Why don't I stand up with that and see what you're getting?
I'm registering 20 mil.
Okay. So it seems like it's not, it's still clearly powerful, but not as powerful as the ones with the other elements included. So
I found what I usually do if I have extra capstones or even just extra bionized quartz pyramids, I put them underneath my chair inside of the pyramid.
yeah.
And that seems to amplify the energy as well.
Oh, sure. So
Did you want me to step outside of the pyramid then, Bill?
Yes.
You want to? Okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah, let's have her step out just for a second to see what is just regularly and then step in.
Yeah, I get 14K.
okay.
And now tell us what you have on your necklace as well, because I think this will probably do something as well.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to take this off?
No.
Because this is actually a piece of organite though. It
Okay.
has the flower of life, metal, and really we're not supposed to have anything metal on inside the pyramid, right? That would probably affect it.
Yeah, probably take it off and see.
Let's just see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I get 40K.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you stand up for us, Lisa. Yep.
Okay. Here. Oh, let me move this back. Okay.
I'm getting 500K.
Okay. And then Lisa, which way is west for you?
Behind me.
All right, let's turn around and see what happens to your energy.
Okay.
Where that changed it, didn't it?
Yeah. Now she's like 2 mil.
Her third eye is
Really?
going crazy. Her pineal gland, your chest is opening up. I mean, there's so many things happening to you right now. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's funny. I can even feel like I'm breathing easier.
Mm-hmm. Do you have cats?
Ah!
Lisa?
I'm sorry.
You know, when I moved down here, I had a cat and He was here a week, and then as soon as I let him outside, he disappeared. So
Oh,
I've been
no.
worried
I didn't
about
know
him
that.
all month.
You know, I can,
But there
I can feel that. Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
bring him back. What's his name?
Cougar Bob.
I like it. What kind of kitty?
He's a gray tabby cat.
What kind of great tabby? Okay.
Long as he's been gone.
About 3 weeks. So I hope I said
Now
he's
is-
probably on his way back to Pleasantville, 2.5 hours away. So probably
Is he
mad 'cause I took him
neutered?
away from his girlfriend. No.
That's
He
it.
might
He's
just-
wanting.
there's
He's wanting. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's wanting intimacy. So that's
On the
Well,
prowl.
there's a lot of farms around here, so I'm hoping he's just hanging out having fun.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's a good cat. So hopefully he comes back.
So, Bill, can we test you as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So without your crystal,
Yeah, I get it.
and without you in the pyramid.
I know. This is dicey. I had to move my pyramid.
What happened to your hat?
Oh yeah.
The man with many hats today.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Lisa doesn't know
Okay.
that joke, but yeah.
We can hear you, and I get about 13K there.
Yep. All right. Dad. So
There it is.
where my Christmas tree is where the pyramid used to be, so it's a little different. So
You are correct. Yeah.
with me in it now, I'm registering 50K, 75K.
You're still
100K.
going up. Yeah, you're still going up. You can feel it.
Now if I just bring this in, okay, this is gonna be, hold on. Try not to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now. So.
Right.
I'm holding the capstone and I'm at 500 meg.
Million. Okay.
No, million.
Okay.
And now, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh, that's tough.
Well, I'm wondering, can you put it underneath your cap and hold it up there? I mean, I don't-
Brilliant idea.
Let's see if it works.
Oh my goodness. All right,
Is it working?
it is.
There, that's why you have the cap today. Besides it being
Yeah.
Christmas.
All right, so
Wow, feel that energy. Holy moly.
yeah, I'm be.
He's getting to 1 billion. He'll get to 1 billion here.
I'm at 1 billion.
Yeah. Can you feel your heat rising? Your energy?
You feel my head is hot because of this hat.
Your temp, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Feel the
amazing.
hair standing up on my arms.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm being told? People that want to use their capstone, and not on, if they don't want to put it as a capstone and want to hold it inside their pyramid, they can just leave me a note when they order it, that they don't want holes in the base, if they don't want to use
Oh, okay.
But you know what we're thinking, Lisa, that we could create
putting
it.
crystals in there.
Either that
sorry.
or that you can put a platform up top right there instead of going on the top, put a platform where they could just place it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So Charlie, when he originally made these pyramids, he had a brace. Remember, Charlie? We can maybe use that same connection design that you had, make it up higher instead of just the bars.
Well, it's possible. I don't have those anymore, and they weren't quite the right geometry. So there may be another way to do that, to come up with some sort of just a flat plate, something like that. But
I'll figure something out.
That's for the future.
Yeah. But I was also being told to put, if you do have the holes in the base of your capstone, and you're not putting it on the top of your pyramid, you can put different crystals in there to change the energies up.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bill, let me ask you to do one other thing along that line. I'm going to put this, just directly above my head while I'm seated, and I want to see if it has the same impact as me standing up or something close to it.
50 mil.
And now let me do the same thing standing up. And again, it's like 250 or 500, right?
500.
Yeah. So that brings up, I guess, a question for everyone. We've started to touch on this. Bill and Lori, Lisa, do you think it's valuable to, when you're meditating, maybe to actually stand up inside the pyramid? That might be difficult. I don't know, but.
Well, and what we found, the higher you went there, it was kind of like you were plugging your soul power in, kind of like a charger. So it was increasing the power of your soul. If you recall the podcast that we did,
right,
we would go from maybe 222 cities we could light up to 9,999 cities we light up. And so really that was to increase the soul power. Now, when it comes to meditation, meditation is all about calming and getting quiet and slowing everything down.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily feel like that would be beneficial for meditation as much as maybe putting it below, like Lisa says, on your chair, below your chair, and maybe just allowing it to be there.
That's what I've been doing. So I've been meditating with my capstone underneath my chair.
Okay.
And it's just amazing how deep I can go now.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
I also found it beneficial too if you get a chair with a straight back, so you can align your back with the center of the pyramid, other than the ones that lean back a little bit. Those kind of mess with me if I'm leaning back a little bit. I feel more powerful when I'm aligned with the center.
Well, let me ask the question a different way. What about for putting out intentions or for attempting to manifest? Would it be preferable to stand up?
You're absolutely right. When we were talking earlier before we started recording, we talked about a matter of intentions and keeping the focus on the intention. That is where I think holding the thought for 17 seconds of what you're wanting to create and manifest will then create the 2,000 action steps. I think that's what you said, Edgar, or not Edgar Casey.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. It's Abraham. For those of you watching, I'll show you the chart. This is a chart that a friend of mine gave me that is from the teachings of Abraham Hicks, but it says basically 17 seconds of pure non-contradicted thought is equivalent to 2,000 action hours, 34 seconds to 20,000 hours, 51 seconds to 200,000 hours, and 68 seconds to 2 million hours. Now, we were doing a little testing here beforehand, and we weren't sure that this is accurate in and of itself, but, let me ask the question, if we stand while we're focusing on intentions, under the pyramid, will that help us to have greater non-contradicted thought or pure thought while we're focusing on our intentions? Does Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Bill, you can douse it.
Will standing on the pyramid, standing up inside the pyramid, assist with getting or achieving non-contradicted thought?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're saying with the capstone, correct?
No, just standing up.
I was asking it just in general, but now
Just
let's
standing up. Okay.
ask it, will that power increase with the capstone inside the top of the pyramid?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems it's a very strong energy, not the kind you want to meditate with.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, have you tell us a little bit about perhaps some of the experiences as well that you've had with some of your other customers recently, and if there's any significant events or stories that might be relevant to this discussion, or really anything else that people might be interested in hearing about.
Yeah. So I actually had some people, this is really interesting, and it's not particularly for the capstone, but it's for the bionized quartz sand that I put in my capstone.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to bionize some quartz sand themselves and fill up all of the poles to the meditation pyramid. They used a vibration machine to settle it, like it slowly vibrated each pole to settle it. And they said as it was vibrating the pyramid, they just had this euphoric feeling overcome them. They were all giddy and acting like little high school kids, and they were just so happy. And they felt it was related to that vibration of the bionized quartz sand. So I thought that was something interesting to look into.
So let me understand what you're saying there. The sand was in there. They hooked up a machine to get it more solid than what it was.
Settled.
And and they stood inside the pyramid as this happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's how they felt. Oh, that is
even
really
just
cool.
around, even just around it. So that's something I want to play around with and see, for myself. They just messaged me like a week ago about that. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to turn this around. Actually, for those people who may not have seen a pyramid with pieces, oh goodness, I'm gone again.
We say that's like TV where it comes on and says, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
There we go. We're right back. But I don't have this pyramid put together, but you can see that this is a clear pyramid, one of the clear pyramids I make. And if you'll notice inside the vertical pieces, there is the sand placed into the pyramid. I used to make them that way, and I stopped really for safety reasons, but because quite honestly, the old way of connecting the vertical pieces wasn't quite as strong, but people are starting to do that. And I actually put this together today for this discussion, and I realized that when I use the external couplings that coupled
a lot more sturdy.
It's a lot sturdier, and with the deeper holes that we now have for the custom capstones, I might actually consider, or at least tell people, that it's probably better. You're okay to try that going forward. So,
And I'm actually going to start offering the bionized quartz sand as well on my store. So if anybody ever wants to order bionized quartz sand, they're welcome.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. They could buy it from you and put it in themselves. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it takes a little while. It takes me at least a week to do a batch of it. So, but if anybody, I think it takes about 15 pounds, depending on the size of your pyramid. Go ahead, Lori.
I think it's just so amazing that what this pyramid can do, and we don't have all the information. And yet again, David Wilcock was talking about putting water, and Akan had mentioned this several times, putting water in the pyramid, and it structures the water in such a way that you no longer need anything else but this water. It will clear out any, you know, infection, bacteria, viruses, things like that. It says that all the, you know, David Wilcock talked about this, and I know, Charlie, you've mentioned you haven't been sick since you've been in the pyramid. I
That's
haven't
right.
been sick. There's just so many things that I start thinking about other elements. And I also think if we start really getting into this and really looking at the knowledge of this pyramid, I think 0 point energy, there's something with that here. I'm just not that far along yet.
Well, I mean, to go back to the 0 point energy, I mean, as you were saying, when the Russian workers were putting the tops of these pyramids together, they were getting sick because there's so much concentrated energy up there. The Russians also put capacitors up on the top of those larger pyramids, and not only would they spontaneously charge, but they would get so charged up that they'd blow off the top of the pyramid. So,
Yep. And the other important thing to mention is that they use PVC, and that if they used anything else, it wouldn't do the same that is necessary for it. So I think that's really important to talk about that.
yes, it is. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're trying to stay
And
with.
I remember one of the cool things they would do, they would take batteries and put them inside of the pipes of the PVC, and it would charge the batteries.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
yeah.
so when we put anything inside of these poles, it's going to that's supercharged already. It's really going to amplify the power of that pyramid.
Well,
and
we can
I would
try
really
that,
like to
can't we?
try. I would really like to try
I wanna
white
do that.
powdered gold. Could you imagine white
Yes,
powdered
maca?
gold?
Is that what that is? Maca?
Ormus or white
Ormus.
powdered gold,
Okay.
monoatomic gold inside of the
Yeah.
pipe.
Let's try it.
Something like
Yeah.
diatomaceous earth. You know, that's mostly silica.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd
I've
like
got
to
a
try
ton
that
of
as well.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we
So
have
there's a lot. We could even
a
blend
listener,
it, mix it.
We have a listener out there that took the same shape of the pyramid and had a small size, 3 on top of each other, and then wrapped it with gold. And we could tell that gave an alchemical feel to it, that he could turn things into gold, which was pretty incredible.
Well,
Yeah.
and I've even interviewed a young man from Australia who's used this geometry of pyramid. He's made a double layer pyramid, put some various types of magnetite or other types of stones in there, and he's made Ormus. He's made Ormus with this pyramid. So I want to have him back on. His name is Michael Hoynes, and I hope to have him back on after the first of the year. So one of the things that came to mind, Lisa, when you mentioned the vibrator that your customer or friend had been using, one of the fascinating things that I have experienced when I'm putting the sand into the pipes, you know, very simply, I take a cork or a rubber stopper and bang in one side, turn it over and fill it up with sand. And then I don't have a vibrator, but I sit and tap it by hand to tamp it down. But one thing that happens when I go to stick the second cork or stopper in and bang it in, the one that I previously put in, which I may have kept a quarter of an inch outside of the hole, by the time I bang the other side in, not only is it flush, but it's come back up inside the other end of the pyramid pipe by about a quarter of an inch. So there is a suction that's going on when I'm banging the pyramid together, number one, or banging that cork in, which pushes the other cork upward. That's number one. And number two, I have literally seen the sand floating in the air inside the pyramid after I've tamped it down. So there's some really extraordinary effects that are going on inside the pipe when I start to put the sand in and tamp it down. So I don't know if any of you get
And I would like to, instead of using the cork I think if you continued the flow, I think the cork may kind of stop it a little bit or dampen the energy a little bit. I was thinking maybe plugging the ends with resin, like the material I make the pyramids out of, or more of an organic substance, maybe like beeswax, you know.
Could be.
Well, the suction part of it, I'm getting it has more to do with the sand. So what type of sand did you say it was?
Well, I mean, the brand name is called Aqua Quartz. It's a pool filtration sand that's very clean, very pure, and very high quartz content.
Okay.
Well, I haven't figured that out yet, but it's fascinating to watch when I do it, to see those sand crystals.
Well, when you bang it,
floating in the air.
It's creating a vortex. When you bang it, that's what I'm being told. It's creating a vortex.
Yeah.
So it is interesting what's happening from that. It's a frequency. I mean, your pounding is obviously a frequency of some sort, a vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So anyway, for whatever it's worth, there's a lot more to discuss here. So I guess we're about out of time here, but I would like to stress that you can get these capstones off of the StargatePyramids.com website. There's a link that you can follow to Lisa's Etsy page, and she has all of her product line available and on sale there. And also, Lisa, you might want to tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so you're welcome to message me on my Etsy store. Follow the link from Charlie's website, or if you're already on Etsy, just go to Flower of Life Creations. Life has no E in it, so it's Flower of LIF Creations. That's my Etsy store. If you can't contact me through that somehow, I know some people were having a hard time with that. You're welcome to send me an email. Or if you have a cool story to tell me, I'd prefer it through email. So Lisa, my name, Lisa Richards, LISARICHARDS, 6775@gmail.com. And, before anybody sends me a picture, I know some people get confused. Usually after Charlie has me on, I have 10 people sending me a picture and they're like, what do you get from this? And I'm like, just go make your purchase first and then we'll talk. So, but your consultation is pretty in depth. You get I think it's like a 6-page printout. I'll send that to you. And you'll get to read what each color means, what each color is going to represent in the healing, what the crystal does to help with your healing. What I picked up during that, like I said, sometimes maybe spirit animal will come through or this or that. I might see things that you're experiencing in your life right now that we're going to focus on at that time. But I've had a lot of people, I'd say my best customer right now within the past 6 months has ordered 9 capstones, one for her, one for her husband, one for each of their kids. They wait about 2 more months. And then they're like, we've used these to the maximum abilities, maximum capacity. We need more. So then I redesign a whole new set for them because that's what it's all about. It's about healing. And it's about opening our energies up to new, So that's why I always tell people, don't gravitate towards things that you like. When you do that, you're resonating at the same vibration that you're already at. You should gravitate towards things that, that like me, when I do the intuitive design, I see different colors and it might not be a color that you really resonate with. It might be something totally off the wall that you don't even like, but that's what you need right now for healing. Yeah. And a lot of these people are really having amazing results. I have a 5-star review on my Etsy store from all the people that have placed reviews on there. So I'm really grateful for all of that. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you do. Well, I can't remember quite honestly if you did anything more than look at at a photo of me or just looked at me, but the fact that you were focusing on the base chakras, the lower chakras, was really spot on, because when I go get an aura photography and session and so forth, the root chakra and so forth, the base chakras are the ones that are weakest for me. So, you were spot on that. And it certainly seems like from
what I'm hearing from Lori and Bill, that you were spot on theirs as well. So,
Well, right now I'm
Spot on
having
with me,
20% off.
definitely.
Yeah, awesome.
go ahead, Lisa. Tell them about the sale.
Well, I have all my pyramids are 20% off any order over $77. So
Okay.
it's a pretty good saving. And yeah, after Christmas, I might have a little bit of an extra for the new year. So just stay tuned and see what happens. But if you have any cool stories and you already got a capstone from me, I'd really appreciate another review if you haven't yet on my Etsy shop, or even just give us a video testimonial. You know, we could share it. Maybe I could send it to Charlie and he could share it on his next
Okay.
podcast here.
Now, for clarification, how long will that 20%, since people will be seeing this over time, how long is that sale going to last?
It's going to be till the end of December.
Okay, till the end of December.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, Bill, do you have any closing comments for our questions for Lisa?
Well,
Or for in general?
I have some comments just for our audience, since
Yeah.
it's going out later, and that is, I hope everyone has their best Christmas ever, and that you be grateful for what you have, and that you tell the important people in your life that you love them, because you might not get a second chance.
Wow,
I like that.
that's great.
I mean, because I sent you guys that email today about my friend's wife who had an aneurysm, so hopefully
Yes.
she'll be okay.
Absolutely. And Lori, do you have any comments for the group at this point?
Well, first of all, thank you, Lisa. This is beautiful. It's wonderful. Oh my gosh, it's just incredible. And like I said, it's just benefited me just so much. And thank you, Bill, for the gift. What a wonderful gift. Just in closing, like I said, I think looking at some of the intelligence of this pyramid, we are just at the tip. We have no idea what this pyramid can do, and then with the capstone with the pyramid is just incredible. And I look forward to the journey of learning more about how all of this is really enhancing our lives. And you know, for the next year and 2 years from now, we're really going to go through some huge changes that we couldn't even imagine what we're about to go through. Our technology is going to change completely. The way, the corporate scenario, I can see that, it used to be that corporations used to be so loyal to employees, and now I can see where employees are going to get away from corporate world, and the corporation's not going to be able to have the power that it does today. So we're going to see some of those changes in the next 2 years. So that's really going to make some bigger changes in the world. And what I say is always, meditate, meditate, meditate. That is the one thing I tell people. If you really want peace, serenity, good intentions, putting out there, and just going into your own self and hearing that guidance within and listening to it will be your best tool yet. And what's great about the pyramid and the capstone, it really helps you get there.
Well, thank you. Before we leave, I wanted to tell you a little bit about next week's show. We've got a number of questions from viewers that we're going to be answering next week. Some in particular, we've been asked to look at the energy of some of the meditation pyramids that are actually out there on the market. We'll be looking at those next week, but there's a lot of other questions as well that are going to be fascinating. We're going to be looking at the power of intention as a source of changes in the energy field as it relates to this geometry that we find in nature. As you know, last week, for example, we looked at the impact of taking away the Wicked Witch of the West's face and seeing the change in the energy of the cap itself without the face. And we're going to be exploring some more topics along that line as well, seeing what the role of intention is in the power of the pyramid. So, as always, thank you for listening to Pyramid Quest. Tell your friends about us. Once again, I apologize that we were not on live today. We're going to try to fix those technical difficulties for next week. But as always, tell your friends. Be sure to subscribe so you'll know about our podcast every week and the other informational videos that we produce on an ongoing basis. We thank you for watching, and you have a great day.